All right. Welcome to another episode of the Freezin NFC North Podcast, episode 48. We are all back from our darkness retreat to discuss the Bears draft scenarios, Vikings coaching changes, what the Lions need to do to take the next leap, and will we see Aaron Rodgers' shadow now that he has emerged from his darkness retreat that has been confirmed. Let's get going. First of all, we are joined once again by Rev Trev. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. Good to see you guys. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely. And seventh letter Lions guy back once again. How are you?
Doing well, man. Just happy to see y'all, everybody in good health and everything. And it's off-season time, so this is our time to shine.
Lions time to shine. Well, hey.
Yeah.
It may be this year. I'm picking them this year, and I'm glad that we're also picking once again. And the fantasy football dad, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Excited to talk Lions again. I like having two Lions guys to bully on the Packers guy a little bit tonight. It's going to be a little bit of fun. So yeah, it's been hibernating for a little while. Time to get back out there and talk some football here.
It is. And we should be having Dave, our Vikings guy, come on soon as I speak. Was that him that just popped on? Speak of the devil, it is. Here we go. Perfect. Welcome, sir. We're just talking about you. Welcome back for your
cut his hair. Was cooking, good looking.
What's up, fellas?
I think he's wearing a Lions shirt. That's awesome.
No, it's Tampa Bay Lightning. Get it right.
Oh,
get it right.
Sorry.
It's hockey season. Listen.
Yeah.
Down here in Tampa.
You got to say it right. It's hockey season.
Nah, we don't talk like those Boston guys.
Hey.
Well, I've missed you guys. You know what? I feel like this has kind of been, something I've missed. Even you, Trevor. Even a Packer fan.
You.
Yeah. Now we've all kind of emerged from our darkness retreats. We'll talk about Aaron Rodgers soon, but first of all, I really want to start with we're heavily Lions here, right? And so we'll get to Aaron Rodgers and all that fun stuff soon. But I want to just talk about the Lions. I'm on record now before the draft, before anything happens, I am going to be picking the Lions to win the division in 2023. I was right about the Vikings winning this year, but first of all, let's just kind of start with the Lions. Now, seventh letter, I mean, what is it, how does it make you feel to hear or to even think about the Lions winning the division?
Well, I'm trying to de-lionize myself. I don't like it, but it feels real. I actually believe it this time. Like, I do think the way we're built, I think we're built to take the next step this year. I think, like, if we got into the playoff this year, like, honestly, like, we could have won, like, 2 playoff games in the NFC this year. Definitely, because it was all horrible. The playoffs were horrible this year, in my opinion.
Especially, and what happened with the 49ers quarterback situation, yeah?
Yeah, it was just horrible. But I don't think that we would have beat them or anything like that, but I do think we would have gave the Eagles a run for their money. I do. So, but I'm very, very excited. Like, I think with I like what Brad Holmes has done, with the last 2 drafts. And I think I'm excited to see what he does with the picks this year. I don't know if we'll trade for someone, trade down with someone, and we could still get a good cornerback. I don't think any cornerback is worth a 6th pick, and all of the top interior defensive linemen will probably be gone from the Cardinals or somebody else, or even the Bears. So the top 2 defensive players will be gone. So I want to see what he does with that pick. I don't know how to feel, to be honest with you. Like, it doesn't happen often.
It hasn't happened in a long time. And that's why I wanted to start with the Lions, because I feel like we need to finally give the Lions their, just due here and just kind of like, throw them out there. Cause really there's a lot of excitement. Obviously we don't know what's going to happen. free agency draft, and I'm not one. I don't know about you guys. I'm not one that likes to do the mock drafts because you just never know trades and stuff like that, and what's going to happen, especially with the Bears' #1 pick and all of that. We'll get into that a little bit later. But when you kind of talk about like positional needs, fantasy football dad, what do you see kind of the Lions needing to take that next step in 2023?
I think they need stronger cornerbacks for sure. I'd like to see them get another safety. The offensive line's great. I'm not worried about the wide receiver position. I think especially with Jameson's going to be coming on this year, I think that wide receiver is fine. That was a question someone asked me earlier on Twitter if they should be making a runs for wide receivers in free agency. I think they're perfectly fine there. I'd love to see them get a stud tight end to replace the Hawkinson.
They had one, but they traded him away.
I know. I've mentioned to you, Andy, my Michael Mayer dream at the 6th pick, and like you just said, they have the 18th pick also, I believe, in the first round. They could just start loading up on defense from there. So I'd like just to see them. It's probably not going to happen. I'd love to see them grab that stud tight end of the 6th pick, but this is just fanboy of that college and a fanboy of the Lions speaking. But honestly, it's just gotta be defense because the offense was just clicking. There was nothing wrong with it. The defense came on the second half of the year, but you could still see where there were holes. You could still run on them enough. I mean, they made major improvements, but they were so bad that it didn't take much to be a major improvement for where they started off. I mean, right off, especially at that Patriots game last year, that still stings, especially living in New England, being a Lions fan.
Well, when you look at the draft capital that they have, and Jared Goff seeming to be able to take that next step in Green Bay, beating the Packers, that's why I'm kind of looking at them. They have that edge if they can make some of those right moves. I think it's possible. Trevor, are you worried at all about the Lions this year?
No, I think they deserve a lot of respect. They made a huge step. I know you guys want to be fresh and hip and cool and the first one to say. I just think it's a little disrespectful to the Vikings, who were 13 wins. But, I mean, it's a new season, right? So, I can see that. The Lions are legit. So, if they can continue to play the way they did at the end of the season, then yes, absolutely. Very good.
Do you feel a little bit disrespected, Dave, by me pushing aside the Vikings already?
Yeah, especially for the Lions. It's like, it's Detroit. Come on, man. Calm down. I mean,
I was all nice.
Wow.
Listen,
yeah.
I like Detroit. But listen,
wow.
they've been trashed.
I held back the word fraud and everything.
Let's be honest. They've been trashed all of our existences. So it's like, can we at least prove it before we anoint them? That's all. Well, I want to see they played great. Second half of the season, they played really good. Can they do it for a full season? They never have since I've been alive. You know what I mean? Since the 90s or whatever. So, yes, they're going in the right direction, it seems like, and they're in a good way. But I'm not going to say they're going to win the division yet until I just want to see them do it.
Stop somebody.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You just do it. I don't think it's not that they can't do it. I can definitely see them making a push for the playoffs, and they may win the division. I don't know. But I just want to see them do it first. You know what I mean? It's like some of these teams that just never. Every time they get hyped, the Browns, they've never done it. They just never. So it's like I want to see you guys do it first before I'm ready to anoint you. But they're going in the right direction. They got some really good picks, so they're going to be a good team for a few years. Looks like
myself right now. I'll be right back.
Oh, this ought to be good. Well, while he's going to make a costume change or something like that, but, Dave, this is actually a great transition. Talk about a team that hasn't been able to stop anybody on defense, and I actually I was thinking about the Lions winning the division before the Vikings kind of made their coaching changes, and it makes me reconsider a little bit with Brian Flores. I mean, what do you see him bringing to the team, and do you see him kind of helping that defense turn the corner?
I'm excited. He was obviously he's a big name. He was one of the bigger names out there, and I watched his press conference, and he talks about being aggressive. And at some point in the Viking season last year, that's all Vikings fans wanted. We just show something. Give me something. Don't just sit back and hope that the team will mess up or fumble, or get a fourth down stop, in the red zone, every single drive. Because at the end of the season, it was every single drive. We weren't stopping anybody. It wasn't every single team that we played. Like the Giants, Daniel Jones is going to get paid $40 million probably just because of 2 good games against us. You know what I mean? Like every single team. Mac Jones threw for 370 something yards. It was disgusting to watch, and every Vikings fan is just like something blitz. I don't care at this point. Just what you're doing is clearly not working. So can we change something up? So it's obviously it's good to have a fresh face, new ideas, someone that's a little bit aggressive. We still have a lot of holes on defense, so it's not going to be easy. But hopefully, good coaching makes players a little bit better. Hopefully, the players are excited to be in a new scheme, and you don't have to be great. He's not going to turn this defense around overnight. Nobody expects that. But if you can go from 31st or 32nd to 20th, 15th, that's a huge improvement. It's, you got the offense that can, score some points. So, I'm excited for the coaching for Brian Flores.
So, Fantasy Dad, do you are you worried about the Vikings then at all?
Not as long as Kirk Cousins is the quarterback. I'm not worried about the Vikings, to be honest with you. I mean, I have to ask you, the Vikings fan here, are you happy with him as your franchise quarterback still?
I mean, he's one of the top 10 best quarterbacks in the league. So
I know, but you're never going to win with him, though. It's just,
but he was.
I mean, you're going to be where you are now.
The only reason we won 13 games last year was because of Kirk Cousins. You saw the defense; it was terrible. We were losing every single game, and he brought us back 8 comeback wins. It's like he was the reason we're in games. And you can say, yeah, Justin Jefferson helped, of course, because you need help around you. But if it was not for Cousins and Jefferson, we would have won. We would be with the Bears picking first in this draft. Like that's how bad that they were. You know what I mean?
It's
so
crazy.
when people want to trash Cousins, I don't really understand it. I just don't get it.
Because he cannot step up in big moments.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess at the end of the game, every single week is that a big moment. I don't know.
But trust me, I say this from a betting man standpoint. There are times every time I count on Kirk Cousins, he just kills it every time. From a fantasy standpoint, from a betting standpoint.
4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, prime time Cousins.
I want to hold that thought for a second. I did have some breaking news that kind of came across. I wanted to see your breaking news. Viking Dave is a Kirk Cousins stan here, so
I love Kirk.
For real.
So that's
right.
That's out there.
You're not going to get me to talk bad about Cousins. Sorry.
Come on.
I mean, you guys know
me so good.
Trevor, you know me. Like I was all on Kirk Cousins, and then I don't know. I mean, I just can't. I can't again. I mean, I don't know, Trevor. What are your thoughts on Kirk?
My question is like, so what did Kirk do this year that is really upsetting? Like, it's really interesting to me because, like, it's not like Jared Goff is that much better, or even is he better? I don't even know. And if we can say clearly, definitively, Jared Goff's better, like you guys are worried about Kirk Cousins, wouldn't you be worried about Jared Goff? I mean, man,
yes.
maybe Justin Fields looks better than both of them this next year. We don't know. Right?
I know. It's not true.
I think Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. I just think that he's lost some, that Monday night thing where he kept losing, like that hurts, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't think they lost this year because of Kirk Cousins. It was their defense. Flores coming there is massive for this team.
I agree.
And when I heard the news, I'm like, are you kidding me? Of all teams, he goes to the Vikings.
I got to step out for 1 second.
Yeah.
I got to sit here. Hold on.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm just concerned, like, we just write people off and say they're terrible. He's not terrible. Now, can he win if the conversation is, can he win a Super Bowl?
No.
Okay. Then that's a different conversation. But we're talking about winning the division. We're talking about making some noise.
If you put Kirk Cousins in San Francisco, they win the Super Bowl this year. I'm 100% promise you that they win the Super Bowl.
I win the Super Bowl in San Francisco. All I got to do is throw the ball 4 yards and let them play.
They could. Apparently, their fourth string quarterback couldn't do it.
Man, you can't keep on reaching back in the well. You can't have four good quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't.
All I'm saying is, first of all,
he's not great.
I've already said this last year. If Stafford can win it, Kirk Cousins can win it because they're competitive. No! Whether you want to believe it or not, that's the truth.
Can is different.
Yo.
Can is different than does, right?
Well,
Like,
you're right.
or
Like
has,
until he
right?
does, but the same
Listen.
you say the same thing about Stafford. His whole
Matt
career.
Stafford,
He
he
did
is
In
do it.
San
not-
Francisco, watch
he
him in the
is
Super Bowl,
not-
they'd be like, "Oh wow,
he
Kirk
is
Cousins is
not-
pretty good, I guess." Like
he
that's
is
how it
not-
works.
He is not in the same ballpark as
He's
Matthew
100%
Stafford.
as good as
Talent-wise,
Stafford, 1000%,
talent-wise, You're crazy.
in everything, in
You're
everything.
crazy. You know what he is? You know
Except
what
for he
does?
doesn't turn the ball over as much. That's he's
I'm
better than that.
But like I said, I'm all right with Stafford's interceptions. I'm all right with them. I'm all right with them. I'm telling you because I know why he threw it. Because he's just supremely confident in his abilities.
Okay, that's fine.
That's what makes him head and shoulders up better than fucking Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is a bum, yo. Stop
Okay,
it.
you're wrong, but that's fine.
That's not
You
true.
know what?
Listen,
You know what?
listen.
I don't
You
know if
can
he's a
say
bum,
that.
yeah.
The
That's
Lions
just-
fan can't call nobody a bum. First of all,
He's not
Yeah,
a bum.
exactly.
All right, let me stop.
You literally
He's not a
called
bum.
Kirk Cousins a bum?
You know who's a bum? You know
He
who's
does
a
have
bum?
his own van, so
T.J. Hawkinson is a bum, but Kirk Cousins isn't a bum, but he's not.
how is he a bum when he was
nowhere
the
in
second
bum.
best tight end in the league after he got traded? It's not my
Man,
fault that they don't know how to use him, Detroit.
Because he was wild. Y'all don't know how to use him.
He had like
good.
he was
He
the
wild.
besides Travis Kelce, he was the best tight end in the league last year, second half of the
You know what
season.
I'm looking at? You know what I'm looking
What do you
at?
mean we don't know how to use
Hold on.
them?
You know how when
you guys are fired up tonight. I love
you
it.
know how when what's my man name for the 49ers when he gets the ball and just
Kittle.
it's
Kittle.
just so Kittle when
Yeah.
Kittle gets the ball it's just he's gone.
Yeah,
You ain't never saw Hawkins do that. In your
that's
life.
not his game. He's still a
Man, I don't
stud.
care. All right, well he ain't that's not a 6th-round pick. That's not a 6th pick. That's not a 2nd-round pick.
That's your opinion.
I got an undrafted guy doing better than T.J. Hawkins.
Well, here, seventh
No,
letter.
you don't.
Seventh letter. I wanted to interject.
Look at the
here for a
stats. Show me the
second.
stats.
So here's the thing. I think the difference between Kittle and Hawkinson. I mean, obviously they're both my Iowa guys. Love them both, but I think Kittle is asked to do a little bit more. And he's had to be more of the offense. He's been more of like a Kelsey type. Kelsey's had to be more, that guy. Just on the outside looking in, TJ Hawkinson hasn't had to be with Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is the number one wide receiving target. Can you say that? I mean, Kittle, you look at him with kind of what's happened with their wide receivers and all of that. Kittle's had to be the number one guy, especially then with quarterbacks. He's, a tight end is a safety valve. So you look at
what TJ Hawkinson is going to ask for because of those overblown stats that he has. Because I see how I know, like I can tell you every time I look at his stats, I know exactly how he got it. He's not going to make a tough catch ever. He made one against the Giants in the regular season.
you
I'm
said
like,
ever.
wow.
That was a great
You
catch.
just said
Ever.
and he now except for this one.
That's one time.
Let's think about another one.
One time. It's never. He's never done it again. He doesn't do it.
He made a
runs out of
clutch fourth
bounds.
down catch against Buffalo.
He
like,
misses blocks.
dude.
He misses blocks and gets you like, you know what I'm saying? Like this is what he do.
Okay, listen, he's not perfect. I'm not saying he's Kelsey or Kittle.
He does it constantly.
He's a top 5 tight end. What are you talking about?
He does it constantly. He does it constantly. He's not better than the Bears. He's Bears tight end.
Did you say Komet?
yeah.
Did you say
Yes,
Komet?
He's definitely better than Cole.
No,
Yes,
stop.
he is.
He's not.
Stop.
Yes,
Okay,
he
next.
is
Can we just
definitely
move on?
better.
Move on.
Yank
I'm
off
done.
of feelings.
I'm
You got
done.
the one facts.
I'm done.
You have no stats to back up your claim.
I'm
I'm
done.
not because I'm not
Hey.
into stats like that. I'm not into none of them stats.
Okay, use your
I'm not into
eyeballs.
stats.
Exactly.
Eyeballs are defeating.
My eyeballs tell me he's soft. He's a bum.
Well,
You call
he's
him a bum? I call him
He's
the
a
number 2
bum.
receiver that catches
I'm
like
glad-
60
I'm good.
some balls
I'm
in the
glad.
second half of the season.
And I'm glad that he did that for you, man. And I'm
He's a
glad
stud.
to have him off my fucking show, off my team, because I've been one of
Good.
them.
He didn't want to beat anyway.
Trust me, the Lions fans on my little chats that I be on, they was upset. I'm like, yo, trade him. Why would we trade him? Because he's not that good. He's not that good.
Well,
he don't get open.
I can give you this. Like, when you look at paying a top tight end, top dollars, whatever he's going to get, it was probably better that the Lions got rid of him.
Thank you.
Right. But that doesn't mean he's a bum. Like there's somewhere in between. Right. And Hawkinson, he's been injured. There's a lot of things going there, but I do think he is one of the top tight ends in the league. I don't know about top 5. It'll be interesting to kind of look at that and kind of rank it.
Definitely not.
And maybe we kind of go ahead and do that one of the
Let's
next
do it.
shows.
Let's do it.
But not tonight. Obviously, wanted to get into thoughts on. We'll do the Bears, and then we'll kind of end, or last we'll do the Aaron Rodgers stuff. But wanted to look at the Bears' #1 draft pick. So Fantasy Dad, when you kind of look at draft stats and things that you've seen, what do you think would be kind of a realistic, haul for this Bears pick? Because I mean, obviously Bears fans, everyone's kind of being like, oh, we're going to get, Michael Pittman, we're going to do this and that. And when you look at it, it's got to be a little bit more realistic than that. So Fantasy Football Dad, what would you think would be kind of a good target for that? Oh, I gotta unmute you. All right, there you go. Sorry,
good?
You were muted. Yep.
Sorry about that. So for your Bears, you mean?
Yep.
Hold on, transitioning. I just cleaned up throw up off the floor by one of my kids. So I'm gonna
nice.
switch back to football.
It's interesting that
Upstairs just sounded like chaos upstairs, and I just came down to hear you guys sounding the same as my family.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I almost threw up hearing some of that talk about Hawkinson.
That's what you're talking about when he's talking about Cole Kmet being good.
Hey.
I mean,
good.
the last thing I want to be is in Andy's doghouse, but I tend to be in the Bale and Fields
wow.
area of the world. I am kind of on that and go for a quarterback. I like Fields, but I've talked to you about this when I was on the show previously. I don't think he can hold up. It just got RG3 written all over it, and it's not like I'm not here to crap on the Bears and stuff. I think they have crazy amount of cap room. They have good draft picks. And I think even with that, I think this will still be. You guys, I feel like, can do this year what the Lions did last year. I think there's still work to be done, but you can definitely put a team on the field. You have tons of money to do it with. But I think the big question is, I mean, I got to ask you, Andy, how are you feeling about Fields as far as being your future franchise?
Oh yeah, he's the guy.
You feel like it, huh?
Yeah,
I'm worried about the way he plays. I don't feel like.
He's definitely the guy, in my opinion. Does he have a lot of room to improve? Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm not shitting on it, but yeah.
No. And I think there's a lot of people saying, they should trade Fields. They're not going to, number one. Number two, if you talk about holding up, you look at some of these other quarterbacks. Bryce Young is a lot smaller.
That's true.
I don't think he's going to be I don't think he's going to be the first pick, though.
It might be Stroud.
Yeah, Stroud.
I think it's going to be Stroud. I like Stroud the best out of all the quarterbacks coming out.
Yeah, and so you kind of look at that. So I totally get. I mean, a lot of people kind of want to say trade Fields, and I it's just not going to happen. I mean, are you kind of on that, Trevor? Do you think that too?
Yeah, they're not trading Fields.
No.
They're gonna trade down. Mm-hmm. They're going to get at least 2 first-rounders, if not 3, for that pick, and they are going to rebuild this team. Unfortunately, I know there's a lot of Fields haters out there, but they're going to build around him. I would love it if they traded Fields, just because it makes it interesting. I mean, that'd be wild, right? But can't see it happening. I think the more realistic is they trade down, get a lot of draft capital, use that to improve a lot of holes that they have.
He's too explosive.
Dave, you're obviously on the trade Fields, right?
So can you tell me without a shadow of a doubt that they wouldn't be better off deciding between Young or Stroud or whoever else, starting their rookie contract over, and that these guys are at least as good, if not better, than Fields, trading Fields for a first and second or whatever else they can get, and starting that way? To me, yes, I know I'm not a Fields fan, but if you think either one of these guys is the guy, to me that it's just smart to start over with a younger guy, the new contract, all of that. If you think he's as good, now if you don't like one of these guys, then you just don't do it. But if you look at him and you decide this guy's great, we really like him, he's the next whoever, then I think that's a smart move. And I was listening to a podcast actually yesterday or the day before, and they were talking about Fields, and they're like, he's not it was Michael Lamar. Somebody who's
Mike
like
Tenenbaum, probably.
I don't remember. No, I can't remember who it was, but it was a known guy. I know who he is. I just can't think of his name. And he was saying, Fields can't throw. Like, he can't throw. He had one game over 200 yards in the NFL. Nowadays, in the NFL. And that was against the Vikings. We know how bad they were.
So that, I wanted to.
And, well, also, real quick, I just want to say, like, I get, like, he didn't have all the weapons, but, like, these guys are still NFL receivers. Like, Mooney's not a bum. He had 1,000 yards last year. Like, not this past year, the year before. Komet, like, I know I make fun of him, but he's not terrible. Like, I don't think he's a bum.
Terrible. He's good.
All I'm saying is, like,
he's good.
He had a few guys that could get open. They're not Justin Jefferson. They're not Devontae Adams. They're not superstars. Close. I get that.
He had Byron Pringle.
But a lot of his throws were not even like close. Like, think about that. Like, Jefferson ain't jumping 18 feet in the air to catch some of these balls either. That's all I'm saying. So maybe he's the guy. I know you love him, and for your sake, I hope he's good. I take that back. I hope he sucks forever. I'm not a fan of him. But I just think if you guys who are in a position of power decide that one of these two guys is the guy, I think the smart move is draft him, trade Fields, and start over. But I guess, we'll see what happens here soon, because it's going to happen soon, I would think. That means I know you're going to get a haul for the number one pick if that's what you go with.
Well, so I wanted a couple things. There's a lot there, a lot to unpack here. But first of all, when you look at Mooney, right, I think he can be excellent, but he was in the wrong playbook last year, and he admitted that. And so he needs to do better that way. And I think one of the main reasons I don't look at stats to right now to say, okay, Fields is going to be the guy. It's his leadership with Claypool at the end of the season, right? When you're losing and the way that he kind of addressed Claypool to say, hey, it's not worth it. Let's kind of continue to build. So he has that team. It's his team, and I like what he's done. In college, he wasn't a runner. But he had to be this year because of the worst offensive line. It was terrible. And so he had to, by necessity, to stay alive. And so that was a big part of it. When you look at Fields, he has those intangibles. Now in a second year with Luke Getsy, I think that's going to be important as well. And go ahead, Trevor. Did you have some comments?
Yeah. I think that's a good. Dave, you brought up what everyone says, and it's just not factual. Let's just go through this. Okay, what Andy just said about the O-line is factual. Okay, Cole Kmet, that you guys love, 17 games, 544 yards receiving, but he had 7 touchdowns. I think that's why you guys love him so much. Right?
No, well, here's the thing. Really isn't that bad for an average tight end.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying that's the best receiver. Okay, guys?
Well, here
the next one is Mooney played 12 games, only had 40 receptions. He didn't even have 500 yards receiving.
But look at the year before when he had 1,000 yards. Like this, she's proven that he's a good player. So who was the issue? Was it Fields?
So is that Fields' fault that Mooney's off the thing?
Yeah,
right?
Is it Mooney's fault that Fields can't get the ball?
Let me just
go backwards.
Mooney's fault. Mooney, because they weren't on the same page, and part of that's like trusty, right? Mooney admitted that he was in the 2021 playbook. And he admitted that, which is so ridiculous, right? So he needs to get better. He did. And the other thing with Kmet going to the 2022 season, it was like, is Kmet a bust? In through the first few games, it was, okay, is he a bust? Is he ever going to catch a touchdown? And they started to do some different things with him. I know the Dolphins game, they were running with him to kind of open things up. Claypool the thought of Claypool in the offense kind of opened things up. But he Bears fans, everyone's looking at Kmet as a bum until he's, started
using him.
What's that?
They started using him. Different.
Well, right. And that's a lot of
it became necessity. It became a necessity to use Kmet when Mooney went down. I feel like they just weren't using him at first.
Too. Yeah. So, so is he? He can be good. I don't. We'll see what he plays.
I think he can be. Like, I'm not saying. Like, I get what you're saying. Like, I see the talent, but when I see him throw the ball, he's still inconsistent. And those are the guys like I see Vikings fans all over. They want Anthony Richardson. and he can't throw the ball for shit, bro. This is the NFL. You're averaging 50. You're 53% thrower in college. You know what I mean? Like
they keep saying that highlight when he spun out of that joint. It keeps
bro,
showing
like
it.
yeah, okay, like I get it. He's got a big ass arm. Guess who else did? Zach Wilson last year. People fell in love with his arm.
Yeah.
Like he's
They
a great
kept-
athlete.
They kept
Okay,
showing the
lots
same
of guys
thing
are
for
great
Zach
athletes.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Yep.
I get that, but if you can't, there's very few Josh Allens that come into the NFL that are average throwers in college and get better. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
just doesn't happen very often. So
Jalen Hurts.
you know, again, I get it, but these guys want to take Richardson like top 10. Like I don't know, man.
Well,
To me,
Richardson, yeah.
that's hot.
He'll be in
that's
the
high,
20s probably.
But I don't know. It's just guys like that. To me, I don't know. Will Fields get better? Maybe he will. I do think he needs better
maybe he
weapons.
won't.
Obviously, he needs
Mhm.
I do
needs
think-
better offensive line play. All of that included. But we'll see. I don't know until I see him get.
He has the right mindset. I do think
He does.
wants to be good, and I like when the way he talks. I like
Mhm.
that, and I hope nothing but the best for him. I just think that they have to use his legs less this year
Absolutely.
because he's going to get hurt. He's going to
Absolutely.
get hurt. He's great. He's explosive.
Mhm.
It's not too many people that can do what he does with the ball when he gets.
Oh,
in
it's
his-
true. 100%.
You know
He's
what I'm
scary
saying?
that way. He don't
Yeah,
scare
yeah,
me throwing the ball, but he
And I
scares me
think
running the
this year,
ball.
I don't think they're going to trade him because I think everybody, all of us agree, he did not have the weapons or the offensive line that he needed to stand back there and be a pocket passer. But if and when he does get these things, these tools and these toys, you better not fuck it up because they'll run him right out of Chicago. You'll be a different guy.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
So I wanted to touch base then on the possible draft haul. And it's interesting. Trevor, you talked about like all these number one picks and stuff because a lot of, Bears fans are kind of thinking that too. But on 670 Score, they talked about some realistic kind of draft capital. And I ended up talking with a Colts podcaster the other night as well about some possible trade downs. And here's something that ESPN draft analyst Matt Miller with the Texans, he said possible would be the number 2 overall pick, a 3rd rounder, a 4th rounder, and a 2024 3rd rounder. So it doesn't that first, all these number 1 picks. I don't know if that's possible.
One, it depends on how much these teams want to get up there.
Yes.
And there needs to be a bidding war. If there's 2 or 3 teams that are coming after it, then yeah. If a team's coming from a little bit further back, they can get more also. If they're going from like to Houston, you're probably not going to get as much because that's 1 spot. Or, maybe Indy is 3 spots. But it depends on again, how much these guys like these quarterbacks and if there's 2 or 3 teams that want them. Because then you start getting guys that want to hop up and give you a few more picks. You know what I mean?
So then
I hope they don't, but I think they'll get something pretty good if they want.
Here was the other. So for the 4th overall for the Colts, the number 4 overall, 2nd rounder, a 4th rounder, and a 2024 3rd rounder.
I think they would get more than that, honestly.
So when you kind of look at that, so then I talked to the Colts podcaster, and obviously in Bears circles and Bears Twitter, they're wanting to get Michael Pittman, and he said, well, you can dream, it's possible. I just don't know that the Colts are going to give up that much. But he said, maybe a DeForest Buckner or maybe another lineman or something like that, or maybe there was another defensive player that's on an expiring contract. So some of those pieces, which I think would help the Bears overall. But when you kind of look at it, it's tough. Like I would love them to get a huge haul, all these number 1 picks. I just don't know if it's possible. So that would be an option. The other one. I got 2 options then here. The one with the Panthers, he says the number 9 overall, a 3rd rounder, a 4th rounder, 24 1st rounder, and a 2024 3rd rounder. Because you're moving all the way down with that. Fantasy Football Dad, what do you think on some of these?
The last one you saw was with Carolina, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one. That rang a bell. I mean, why not? What do you think?
That would be tough.
Right now.
I mean, because then you want one of those top defensive players this year. I mean, Trevor, what do you think?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's the 9th overall. Then what was the other 2?
With the Texans and the Colts?
No, with the Carolina.
Oh, the Carolina one.
So the 9th overall, a 3rd rounder this year in 2023, a 4th rounder, a 2024 1st rounder, and a 2024 3rd rounder.
I would
That's
do that.
a decent haul.
I would do that.
I like that.
It's
That's
just farther
massive.
than like the top 5. You probably want to stay in the top 5. because, like you said,
Yeah.
you want to get one of those top, like those
Defensive player.
those defensive players.
Yeah.
But sometimes the value is too good to pass. Again, unless you determine one of these top D linemen are J.J. Watt or Aaron Donald, and you say we can't move down past 3 or 4. You know what I mean?
And you got crazy cap money. So
Yep. See, I'm a little scared of Jalen Carter. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's doing it in college. Can he do it in the NFL? That's the only thing with some of these defensive linemen.
Yeah. He's probably gonna. I see him falling too.
He could.
In a way.
So here's the last scenario that I would like, and maybe possible, like a combination of a couple of these, right? So say they trade with the Texans, right? And then they trade with another team. Maybe they trade then a second time then with the Colts or the Panthers, right? And because the Bears, I mean, I've said this, quite a while here, that the Bears need a ton of players, and all this draft capital, I think, going into this year, next year, future years, I think would help the Bears quite a bit.
I think if you trade down and you can't get the defensive player you want, you can get a few offensive linemen, which you need very badly, and you build from the inside out, and this is how you become a different franchise. Instantly with the offensive line, the Bears are different instantly, because you give them a chance to try to find somebody that's open. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you won't have to worry about him getting hurt and running and doing all this crazy shit. I will protect the quarterback first, because he's your prize. He's your prize.
And I think with Ryan Poles, with his background as a lineman, I think they will do that.
Yeah, they definitely
so
have to.
a lot of options. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the draft. Obviously, the Bears have the number one pick and all of that. But really the number one story still off season this week, and until it's actually resolved, is the whole Aaron Rodgers situation. So Aaron Rodgers has officially left his darkness retreat. Trevor, is Aaron Rodgers going to be packing to leave? If so, where?
Okay, so this is my personal opinion. The worst case scenario that can happen with the Rodgers fiasco is that he retires this year.
Mm-hmm.
If he retires, we're on the hook for massive cap. Anyways, I would rather get something for him. So then the other two options, that's the worst case scenario. So what I'm hoping for is that he either gets traded or he comes back and plays for us. I'm leading that we trade him. I made a video that we should trade. Now is the time to trade Aaron Rodgers. In fact, I thought I did a video last year suggesting that maybe last year was a good time, and I got crucified for that. But hindsight 2020. I mean, it sucks when I'm wrong. Like, that's one of my tagline. I could be wrong, but I highly doubt it. Right? So hindsight 2020, probably should have, but we didn't. So let's trade him now. If he comes back to Green Bay, he's gonna play 1 year and he's done.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm saying let's trade him now. Let's trade him now, and let's get something for him. I made a video on that. I talked about different landing spots, and the two teams that keep coming to the surface is the Raiders and the Jets. Now, have you guys seen what the Jets have been like, their quarterbacks since Mark Sanchez? Like, no wonder they're interested.
Yeah.
Right? So
been as bad as the Bears.
Case,
so yeah,
that's the case, and we get a first overall for Rodgers. That's the 13th pick. I'm doing that right now, even if we don't get anything else. That is incredible. But it sounds like we're going to get more than that, which is wild to me. And the Raiders one, to me, feels fishy because, in all honesty, it just feels like everyone wants him to play with Devontae Adams. Do they have the draft capital to actually pull it off?
No.
Right? And the other one's the 49ers. I don't think the 49ers have the draft capital to pull it off.
Or the budget, either team, right? I don't think the Raiders or right.
Right. So
the Jets are the only one that can.
The Raiders got to have it because they had a $40 million with Carr, and then that kind of switches a little bit. But yeah, you're right. You're right. So I'm in the let's trade Rodgers camp. I love him. I think he's my favorite player to watch of all time. Right. I don't think he's the GOAT like everyone in Packerland says. He's just not. Brady has to be that guy, not him. But just like 7 Super Bowls, are you kidding me? So I'm there. I'm in the let's trade him. Let's move on now. Let's see what Love does. I'm praying that we have a third straight Hall of Fame quarterback in Love. That's what I'm hoping. I don't know what's going to happen there.
You don't. Sorry.
Keeping my mouth shut on that one for a second
I
here.
don't think
So
so.
let's go with the first. Well, let's say that assume he's going to play in 2023. So Fantasy Dad, let's go with the premise that he will be back in Green Bay. Does he worry you from a division perspective, Fantasy Dad?
I actually am in the camp that I think he'll be back in 2023. I think it's going to be a lot of noise about retiring, moving on, and everyone's going to be taking all these scenarios like we're doing now, and then he's going to land back.
He's staying.
He's staying. I think that's what's going to happen. It's just one place from Aaron Rodgers. I think he might just like the attention, but I'm not too worried about it. I think Green Bay they get some talent on it. I mean, you've seen him connecting with Watson a lot last year. A lot of good things happened to get Aaron Jones back. Dylan looked like a beast at the end of last year. I mean, but and the defense actually looked good in against Minnesota. But I'm not too worried about them. I just think they have a lot to get. If they have him, they'll have him back for 1 year. I agree with that, and I don't think they have enough to really get something going in 1 year with him. I think it would be smart of them to move on and go with see what they got in Jordan Love. It's about time to see it, but he'll be back. He'll be back with the Packers next year, and I think they're going to be almost the same team they were this year. Unfortunate for Packer fans, but that's what I see happening.
Dave, what about you? Are you worried about them from a Vikings perspective? If he comes back in 2023,
I mean,
Packers?
It's still Aaron Rodgers. You still got to give him respect. You know what I mean? You know he can do. And if he has the receivers clicking, like they were in the second half of the season, they were looking a little bit better when they were trying to make a run. I mean, he's still Aaron Rodgers. I think he's one of the best ever. I don't really see him. He hasn't really lost anything. He just had a bad team. I think they had a couple of bad. The defense wasn't playing great at the beginning of the season. Some rookies that he wasn't on the same page with. He didn't have Devontae Adams like usual, but you give him another year. You still at least gotta give him a little bit of respect until he's dead. You know what I mean? Until he's buried in the ground. I'm still gonna be a little bit worried about him.
What about you, Seventh Letter? Are you worried about Aaron Rodgers till he's deceased?
This is reminiscent of when Brett Favre was playing around. Like he's coming back. He's coming back. Yeah, he's coming back. Man. He's coming back. He gets on my nerves. He's such a attention whore. Like, I'm gonna go be in the dark for 4 days and I'm gonna let off all these dopamines and all this shit. Then I'll come back and make a decision. So he's just playing with the Packers. He'll be back.
Well, let's go on the other side of it then. Say he comes back and he goes to the Jets or another team. All right. So let's move on to Jordan Love. We'll start with you then. Trevor, what would your expectations be then for the Packers if it is Jordan Love?
I would hope that we'd be fighting for a playoff wild card. That's my hope. But I don't know. No one knows what Jordan Love's going to be. And I think it's funny because we all think we know because we saw something in the past because he played a couple snaps. It's either like they absolutely love him or absolutely hate him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not Packers fans I'm talking about the rest of the league. When I hear you guys talk, you're like, no, it's over. How do you know that? You don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about that. We've seen a couple plays, and trust me, I'm nervous. And this is why, because I'm so used to watching a quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over, and to have somebody who actually does. He does turn the ball over. That worries me. But I'm excited to see what he does. I mean, there's a reason why they drafted him. There's a reason he's been developing. He's getting better. Like he is, and you're hearing Aaron Jones now talking about him and saying a lot of bold things. Now, is he just a nice guy trying to boost him up? Very possible. But what if we trade Rodgers and we go with Jordan Love and we drafted another wide receiver or a tight end like Mayers there? Like that, it's helpful, right? I don't know.
Definitely drafting another
I don't have I don't really have an expectation of what I'm expecting. I have more hope. Like, I hope this happens. I don't know what's going to happen, and it's going to be wild, whatever way it turns out.
All right. Speaking of wild, I have a question here, and let's go ahead. Dave, I think you'll probably react to this one, probably the best. You or seventh letter. Here we go. Are we taking Kyle Trask or Jordan Love?
This is easy because I think Kyle Trask is trash. So Jordan.
Oh, all right. Seventh letter. What about you? Okay.
On the Lions or on the Packers?
On the Packers. We're talking about Packers. We're talking, yeah.
Trash.
Wow.
No, stop.
Okay. What about you, Fantasy Dad?
I'm thinking Jordan Love, and if I could just comment on something Trevor said. Everyone's so quick to crap on Jordan Love, and I think especially what we do on content and stuff is no one wants to say they don't know something. I'll be the first to say when people ask me about Jordan Love and how he'll be, I have no idea. I've not seen him enough in the NFL, and I think anyone who's saying what he is, they really don't know. It's just a guess, and I'm not going to sit here and guess and say he's trash. They're holding on to him for a reason. You've seen what they've done with quarterbacks in the past. I mean, I would just go with Jordan Love. Let's see what he got over Trask.
Trevor, are you offended by my question here?
No. I mean, coming from a Bears fan? No. Right? No, I mean, it's okay to ask these things. Like, there are rumors that if Rodgers moves on, that we might draft a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not so bad. It depends who we trade with. We trade with a team that we can move up in. I mean, what if it's Carolina and we get the 9th pick? What if it is the Jets and the 13th? There might be a quarterback there that we can take. Who knows what's going to happen in the draft? So I'm not saying we should do that. I'm just saying there's conversation, and I'm not offended by that. Of course, I think we should look at every single option. What's the best? Just like with the Justin Fields conversation about possibly trading Justin Fields, I think that is a legitimate conversation the Bears should have.
Oh,
whether
absolutely.
they do it or not, it's a different story. Why don't we have this conversation? If we could get a good quarterback that's better than Jordan Love, take him. But I am excited to see what Jordan Love's going to bring. Hey, talk about that darkness retreat just for 1 second. Can we just talk about it for 1 second?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I made a video called Rodgers' Darkness Decision. It is the least viewed video I've ever made. 26 views, everyone, because everyone's sick and tired of this conversation.
Yep.
They don't care anymore. Now, the big name people got massive hits for that.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't. People are like, we do not care.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rodgers comes on to the Pat McAfee show and says, everyone thinks I'm making a decision out of that. This is not one of I'm just going to have a retreat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to go figure out some stuff with life. And this is where it's like, okay, we're just so tired of this. I mean, 26 views, guys. I put my heart and soul in these videos. It's because nobody cares anymore. They just don't care. Just make a decision. Tell us what you're doing. And I think you guys are right. I want you to know. I think you're right. I think he just comes back to Green Bay. Yeah. I'm just hoping he gets traded. That's my hope. Yeah,
I feel like, I mean, it needs to kind of there needs to be a change in Green Bay. They need to find out what the next, who the next quarterback is, because, the longer he's there, he's going to keep doing this. Same thing's going to happen the next offseason, right? Oh, maybe I'm going to come back again, especially if they're in the playoffs. If they get into the playoffs, and Christian Watson takes that next step, Romeo Doubs, that type of thing, the defense does well. And I think if Rodgers is there, they're going to hover around at least that 500, possibility, just because it's him. Now, you look at different quarterbacks like Matt Ryan and some of these other quarterbacks who've just fallen off a cliff. The one thing that would scare me is I think about it for Rodgers. He had, in my opinion, and you look at it from his past, he had kind of a down year, right? And so he may kind of like take that as a challenge and be like, okay, this year is going to be different. Does he have what it takes? Dave, did you have a thought on that?
Yeah. So then not us, but in general, the NFL about 6, 7, 8 years ago, saying the same thing about Tom Brady. He had that down year, and they're like, he's done. They got to get rid of him. It's time to get on new guys. What if Rodgers plays? He's 37, 38. Quarterbacks, he doesn't get hit. He doesn't scramble like he's not a runner. He could play for 5 more years. He's one of the best quarterbacks ever. I think if you're Green Bay, the truth is he's the best option for you. And we keep saying, well, they need to find out about Love. Do they? What if he's not that good? Like, we don't know. Like we said, we don't know. He might be great. He could be the next Hall of Famer. But Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks ever, probably top 5, top 10 for sure. And what if he plays at a high level for another 5 years? Yeah, he had a down year. They lost Devontae Adams. The whole team had a down year. It's not like it was just him. So I'm just saying that's another thing you got to think about. When they trade him to Oakland or the Jets or wherever, Vegas, whatever, and he is great. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities. I think that's a very realistic option that could happen.
Yeah, like I said, I've been saying it the whole year. Like I don't think he lost much at all.
Dude, I'm telling you, I want Rodgers gone. I want him traded.
Yeah, I want him out.
And this is my thing about Rodgers. We're talking about like Love. The reason people say
his thumb was hurting. Yeah.
The reason we talk about Love he's not that good. We're right. We don't know. We just know he's not Aaron Rodgers. Not yet. He might be eventually, but right now, you put Love out there or Aaron Rodgers, I'm good. Put Love out there, please.
Yeah, put him out.
As a Vikings fan who's been beaten by this guy for the last 15 years, I think that's what every fan of all the NFC North teams are thinking is like, please get rid of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
maybe he is done. We don't know, but we just want him gone at this point.
Get him. Get him out. Get him out.
Here's the thing about Aaron Rodgers, though. Like you brought up Tom Brady, right? I think Tom Brady, he is the outlier because I think when you look at the difference between the two of them, Brady seemed to be laser focused on football, on his health, on his training, all of these things. He has all of his other things, but he was laser focused on one thing, winning and continuing to maintain his body. Rodgers has been, all over the place doing some different things, and God bless him. I mean, that's kind of what he wants to do, right? But he just doesn't seem as focused when it comes to football as Brady or some of these other quarterbacks. Is Rodgers one of the best quarterbacks of all time? I think so, but he's just not as focused. I mean, is that kind of legitimate, Trevor, when I bring that up?
Yeah, no, I think that's a very legitimate thing. But my pushback to that was, who cares? He's never been focused then. He says, if I'm back, I'm all in. Now, you would say, well, you didn't come to training camp or you did a darkness retreat. That's his style.
Exactly.
I think it's weird too. Don't get me wrong.
His style hasn't won a Super Bowl since 2010. So,
and you're right. You're 100% right. There's nothing that anyone can say regarding that statement. 100%. But he's also won a bunch of MVPs. He's also we've also been the number 1 team in the NFC. It's not that it's. I understand for the conversation at Super Bowl or bust. Okay, but that means one team wins every year. I still think he's good. I think he's 39. He's pushing it. But what if he does a Tom Brady 45 years old?
I know. It's just a question.
I just don't think – I think where you're saying laser focused, Andy, this is where I'm like, we need to trade him now because he could peace out this season. He's like, I'm good. I'm retiring. That's why I'm so nervous about this.
He just wants to. I mean, he could just be there just to get his $53 million.
He does the thing that he wants to do, and there's nothing wrong with that. He's not a bad person because of it.
No, absolutely not.
He talks about how he's been played as the villain, and he's like, sometimes it's kind of fun to be the villain. I'm not, but I mean, sent a letter last year when we were talking. You gave him mad props, and I know that you still have that high opinion of Aaron. He's a difference maker, right?
Yeah,
and so I appreciate that the rest of the league notices. It's only the Bears fans that crap on Rodgers. Let's just be honest, right? And it's okay. I don't have a problem with that.
I think he's terribly
but he is still an incredible talent. And I don't care, like all the drama. Like, listen, there's last year it was so diva, so many things, but it's like that's how he runs it.
I don't know. It gets old after a while, man.
It would get old if I was a Packers fan.
I agree. Okay, but Favre, the way Favre ended, that was awful.
Even
I'm
worse
coming
with the
back.
Vikings.
I'm not coming back.
Even worse with the Vikings. Like he didn't even like. I was living in Mankato during that time, and I'm like, is he going to show up to training camp? No, he's not going to. He played that. And so yeah, it makes good for conversation on all these fronts. Aaron Rodgers is a talent. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what happens. I did want to kind of end with talking about darkness retreats. So we'll go ahead and start with you, Fantasy Dad. If you were to take a darkness retreat, where would you go?
I mean, I just told you I got done cleaning up, throw up upstairs there. I'm just might go in the darkness retreat of this back porch for the night. It's 25 degrees out there, but at this point, nobody's puking out there. No one's yelling and screaming. I mean, I am in a house right now, wife, 4 kids. Anywhere I can go be by myself for 10 minutes, I'll go in. So wherever, man. As long as it's quiet and I can sleep for 8 hours, finally, will be my darkness retreat.
What about you, Seventh Letter?
It won't be no darkness, all sunshine, man. I go to probably somewhere in Curacao. I love Curacao. It's a beautiful island, the bluest water in the world, man. I would definitely go there and get some sun, go diving and shit, all that good stuff. Yeah, it won't be no darkness. I don't really like the darkness. It messes me up a little bit.
Yeah.
It'll be sunlight, no darkness. That's why Aaron Rodgers is weird.
There's a lot about him that's weird.
Yeah.
Speaking about someone else is weird, what about you, Dave?
Yeah, it wouldn't be dark for me. Like that is definitely weird. Like who just goes to like someplace dark? I don't know. Either I'd probably go someplace cold because I live here in Florida. It's always hot, so someplace cold where I can just chill out. I don't know. Maybe like Alaska.
You should be in Minneapolis right now. They got like 18 inches of
snow.
I'll
be honest. I can never live up there. I don't know how they do it.
I don't miss Minnesota. I do not.
That's a different kind of cold. So anywhere that's not where I'm frozen, but have a good time. Someplace like that.
Well, I would say so I had a chance to go out to Oregon and sit in Lincoln City, Oregon, and sit in a hot tub and right on the ocean and look into the dark sky. That was probably look at stars. That was probably one of the most peaceful times. Sit in that hot tub and just look and chill. That
sounds fun.
It was amazing. So, what about you, Trevor?
Well, I'm an extrovert. So I can't just go and do an isolation retreat. Like I don't care if it's dark or light, whatever. Like the idea of not being around people, that sounds awful to me. I get energized by people. So, but my wife went and visited Florida, and I really want to go there.
Come down here, baby. Let's go.
And I'd go with you to a Lightning game, no problem, man.
I got seats. Let's go.
Yeah. So I would definitely hit you up on that, but. Yeah, like I want to try that out. I heard it's beautiful there, and I like it because there's lots of options for sports. I'd love to go to some sporting events, but yeah, I love going by a lake. That is, I find that extremely peaceful, life-giving. There's something about just being by water. I live near the ocean, and I like the ocean, but I love lakes the best. So. Get me out. Like I'm okay to go in the cabin.
You play golf? There's a bunch of golf courses down here with lakes. You want to go?
There we
play
go.
Golf.
Let's go. I dress up like a golfer. I look like one until I start swinging. Then I look like a baseball player who tried as a golf. So.
I'm not a golfer, but we can play. I play a couple of times. I'm not good.
You guys are high maintenance, huh? I just want to sleep for 8 hours. You're taking all these destinations.
Yeah, young kids.
I'm just saying. Who's got the young kids?
I
just want a bed.
Teenagers, man.
All good stuff. So, Trevor, where can everyone find you again?
Yeah, so since we last talked, I've kind of branched out. So I'm on Twitter for RevTrevK, but I also do my Kempner Sports videos on fantasy football, Packers, and NFL content. But I've now diversified, and I'm doing a brand new channel on the NHL, and it's both my Canucks. It's like the Packers. There's so much drama. It's ridiculous. I just launched it maybe 12 days ago. I've had huge success and so thankful. So if you're interested in the NHL, come check me out on there right now. I know right now NFL content's kind of low. We're all talking about the draft. It's a real low for a couple months here until the draft kicks in. So if you want a little change of pace, that's where you can find me. It's Kempner Canucks on YouTube and Twitter. as well as I'll have my content about Aaron Jones coming up, about that big the good contract he signed with us. I'll be doing something there as well. So sorry, I got lots going on, so I wanted to share it all.
If you need a hockey person,
come join
John,
me.
hit me
Let's
up.
do a live stream.
I'm down. Tell me when.
Where can everyone find you, Dave?
I forget. At Viking Dave 18 on Twitter. That's about it. I'm not fantasy shows died down a little bit. Me and Josh been busy, so it's mostly just a little bit on Twitter. That's about it.
All good stuff. And what about you, Seventh Letter?
Seventh Letter 4 on Twitter. Same OG on Instagram and Facebook. Las Vegas to Detroit Sports Radio on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all that, man. Good to see you guys again, man.
Absolutely. And how often are you recording with that one?
What, with the Las Vegas to Detroit?
Yep.
Well, right now we're just doing like regular content on like just social media stuff. As far as the Raiders, he doesn't really want to talk about them much.
Rodgers.
Yeah. But now he wants to talk again because the draft is happening. So right now we're building our mock drafts. I think it's fun. I'm a mock drafter myself.
That's cool.
So, and last year I had a pretty accurate one, by the way.
Nice.
Everyone I picked is good. I picked Tariq Woolen. I said,
that's
that
a great
motherfucker
pick.
6'5", running 4.2. Give me that. But yeah, man. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're doing that next. That should be coming up probably a little bit after the combine, so we have a clear idea of the names and the participants. So it should be fun. We'll be live. I'm moved into my house now, and I got my little area set up. So I should be having a lot more content this year. This next season is gonna be our season. We're gonna really get a lot of content going.
Good stuff. Definitely gonna watch out for that. And what about you, Fantasy Dad?
I'm still on Twitter at TFFDad. Since we last talked, though, I'm still writing my article, Dad Moves, but starting next week, I'm working with Belly Up Sports with their fantasy department, and I'm super excited to get to work next week again.
All good stuff on that. And you can catch me, obviously, on Twitter, on YouTube. I may actually be looking at some other avenues as well, but you can definitely catch me at the draft. I'm hopefully going to do some coverage on that. And this is a Hail Mary, but I did send an email to get some press passes for myself and the kids saying that we do a podcast. So,
nice.
Dope. Nice.
Awesome.
I doubt I'm going to get it, but that would be kind of fun.
That'd be awesome.
Where
is it this year?
It's in Kansas City. So
okay, that's right.
Still waiting on tickets and all that, but I've got my hotel reserved.
Nice.
Excited for it and excited to see what the Bears do.
Yeah, and you guys got a high pick, so that's awesome.
Exactly.
That'd be fun.
So all good stuff. We'll have to definitely do something as it gets closer to the draft. Definitely missed you guys, and I appreciate you coming on tonight. Been a lot of good fireworks. Everyone from their retreats, and a lot of great stuff tonight, guys.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Thanks, man. Good seeing everybody.
Back go.
Once again, been Freezin 4. Thanks again. Have a good night.
Peace.